Welcome to Wheelnerds. This is episode 227. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Todd.
We're going to talk about motorcycles.
And motorcycles. And more motorcycles. And more and more and more motorcycles. Do you have motorcycles, friends? Do you have motorcycles at home? Do you need another motorcycle? That's your cue to say yes, Chuck.
Yes.
Do you need perhaps a motorcycle with a sidecar that goes fast?
Yes.
Because it turns out one is available right now to buy.
You don't say.
Yes. Bargains, bargains, bargains.
So you're selling the Bandit. You're selling the Bandit, which came out of left field for me.
Well, it came out of left field for me too.
Shelly came to me and she was just like, "What's this about Todd selling his bike?" And I'm like, "What do you
the
mean?"
record screech happened and Chuck spit out whatever was in his mouth, and
because I was literally just at your house.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, "I'm not buying nothing. The Bandit's staying here. I'm going to have the Vespa and I'm going to get my Flow.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be bitching."
Yeah. And I make, if the Bandit doesn't sell, it doesn't sell, whatever.
Uh-huh.
I'm not willing to like nickel and dime down to the bottom of the barrel on it. But a friend who has, so it's one of those things where it's, you say all that shit and I just ordered a new exhaust for it too.
Uh-huh.
A friend who's got a really fancy touring rig. Is looking to unload the touring rig.
So what does he have?
It's a GS with a Hannigan.
Wow.
Yeah. So a really nice touring rig. So he's trying to convince me to buy it, and he's if it's the bro price is compelling and
what do you
doable.
Think of it? Do you think it's a sound bike?
I think it is. Yeah. And he knows what he's doing, fixing things and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I know the history of the bike. I helped him buy it.
Okay.
Rode it a little bit before, so I'm like, but I need space and money and that. So
yeah.
It's not gonna be, I worry, as fast as the Bandit. I mean, it's just not, right? It's heavier and is not actually as powerful.
Right.
But, I've been thinking about a touring rig for a while and getting something toury that I could take the kids further with. And, I'm like, let's give it a shot,
Okay.
So maybe somebody wants a rocket like the Bandit.
Uh-huh.
Yay. Maybe they don't, in which case, whatever. I'll keep using the Bandit and I'll fix it up and we'll go. Because the Bandit's, it's not perfect. It's not a fancy touring sidecar rig, but it's a good do-everything rig,
About this GS rig.
Yes.
If you can't buy it.
Yeah.
You might know someone else who could buy it.
Yeah, actually, I even asked him about that, and he said, "Yeah, all right." But I was like, I gotta make sure I keep Chuck away for a little bit with a spray bottle.
I've noticed you
make sure
you were studiously not telling me about it.
Yes, I was
to the point where my
dancing.
wife was coming up to me.
I was dancing around it a little bit. I was like, see if maybe I can.
You're always the first to send me "Oh, look at this Rocket 3 with the touring rig, Chuck. Oh, look, Chuck, it's a Hayabusa with a sidecar."
This time I'm standing there with a wooden spoon. I'm like, "Get the fuck hands! No, hands up! Smack!"
Yeah, to the point where it's like, "You were just at Todd's. What do you know about him wanting to buy a new bike?" What? Actual conversation.
Sneaking around in the darkness.
You mean there's something Todd's looking at that he hasn't told me about?
He's gonna buy that shit.
Suddenly, I'm interested.
Yes, we'll see what happens.
Suddenly, I have questions.
If somebody wants to buy the Bandit, then I'll make it happen. If they don't, I won't. I'd probably end up having to sell the Vespa and the Bandit to do it.
Yeah, just to make the room.
The room and the money.
Okay.
Even at bro price, we're talking about a pretty fancy setup here, right?
Okay. So don't say the bro
I'm not going to
price
say
in the
the
air,
bro
but
price.
hold fingers up in the air so I can get an idea. Wait, slower. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's compelling. Some of it is he bought this one to tour with his kids, and he really wants it to. Honestly, he wants to get it to someone else who would tour with his kids.
Right. Yeah.
Because he sees this as the destiny of this bike.
You know, I got kids, right?
Yeah, I know, Chuck. So to my credit, I asked him up front. I'm like, okay, so let's say I can't make this happen. Would you extend that price to Chuck? He's like, who's Chuck? I explain it. He's like, he'll ride it, right? And use it. I'm like, yeah, he'll use the shit out of it. He's like, okay. All right.
Yeah, because if I got that, I could get rid of GS and the Euro.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
And that leaves room for another bike.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it comes together. Honestly, I'm in a weird spot because I'm like, on the one hand, I'm like, it'd be really cool to have that, something different, something new, without having to like come up with a whole shitload of money from somewhere.
Yeah.
Sell the other stuff. On the other hand, if I like end up still with the Bandit, I'm like,
yeah,
cool.
You like the Bandit.
I like the Bandit.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
You've got that
Especially
kind of dialed in the way you want.
Yeah, especially since I finally got out to actually ride it for what it's really meant for, which is just tearing through the freaking corners.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I
A GS would be disappointing to you.
There's a part of me that honestly really worries about that. Like a GS going through the corners would be somewhat disappointing.
Because I don't know if I'm riding a 2001.
Mm-hmm.
It is ass old.
Mm-hmm.
It's on its second motor. All that. I go on the GS and the word pokey kind of echoes in my head.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, keep in mind, my other ride is a Hayabusa.
So there is a. I mean, you know, I'm 200 Metropolitans down on the Bandit. So,
yeah.
You know that
the GS is kind of pokey.
Yeah.
Not like the way the Thruxton was.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the Bandit, especially the Bandit with the whole shot everything that just wants to be like, hey, let's fucking go.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like that.
So yeah, I worry a little bit about that. And you know, and as you say, I've got that thing dialed, you know, so my willingness to you know, go to the bottom dollar is not that great, honestly.
Though on the other side of this coin, and I can't believe I'm making this argument, except for the fact that I'm sure it's occurred to you. You'll have a flow,
right,
with instant torque.
If I need to go, and that also has occurred to me. If I just need to get on something that goes all the fast,
you have that coming.
That's coming.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
you know, if I just need to like just fucking go for broke up one of the canyons and then like coast home, I can do it.
Yeah.
So you know, this is all part of my calculation. The thing actually that really like clicked in my head a little bit was when my wife said to me, next time the guys go for a big ride down south, you could go with them for days and days and be totally comfy. And I'm like, oh yeah.
If you're on a GS rig.
Yeah. And then having ridden now the Bandit for like a whole day straight, like it's work. You know, it's like it's a sidecar. Sidecars are always more work.
Yeah.
It's work. I could actually probably ride it further than I was giving myself credit for.
Okay.
Some of that is that I finally got the fucker set up right. And you know, as it is with the sidecar, the constant like, wait, okay, just a little more, okay, and there, no, not enough, 1 more half degree, too much, go back, quarter degree, you know, like,
you know, you say all these words as you're talking to me, but all I can see in my mind is you just outside of Durango, weeping at a gas station, wishing the day was over.
A couple of things have often occurred to me about that ride. One of which is I should have had the goddamn windshield and stuff.
Yeah,
the windshield that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
The other thing was I probably shouldn't have been trying to ride it fast. You know.
You were trying to ride it fast?
Yes. I was trying my ass off. I was trying so hard
to ride fast.
That was trying, Chuck. Even what trying looks like.
Even on the downhill part?
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
That's what trying looks like.
That's what crying looks like. I have a picture of it. I know what crying looks like.
Yeah. But yeah, so you know, these are all things going through my head because, as you say, I
you've already got the rig you like.
I got the rig I really like, and I'm like, do I really want to upset the apple cart at this point? Plus, I've also, you know, I'm at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
The answer is always.
The answer is almost always yes. Reality check. So we'll see what happens. So, listeners, if you do want an absolutely awesome rig, the Bandit's for sale.
You should describe it.
I'll pick you up at the airport.
Describe the Bandit.
Okay.
Pick you up at the airport. You should offer to ride it out to them.
Yeah, I'll pick them up at the airport in the Bandit. You know, if they had any doubts that it runs good.
No, you got to take it to them and then you fly back.
Probably not.
Or I'll go with you and we'll just come back together. I'll take my car. I'll follow you in my car and then we'll drive back.
All right. Then I might not want to give it up though when I get
there. No, fuck's sake.
A 2002 Suzuki Bandit with Texas sidecar. Awesome running, awesome riding sports sidecar. This is a ready to ride anywhere rig that turns heads around town and is a blast to ride in the canyons. Gobs more power than a Ural and 100 pounds less metal.
Fuck you.
It tracks nice and straight with only one hand on the bars at speed and overall has medium steering effort for a sidecar rig.
I would be scared to ride that at speed with one hand on the bars. I don't know why.
It's actually really stable.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just freaks me. I think
Like
it's that one time I went riding with you at speed on the Bandit.
Yep.
And it just felt like the thing wanted to.
It was adjusted not nearly as well at that point.
Okay.
Is part of it.
It's better now.
It's a lot better now.
Okay.
Yeah. It's running about a 1.5 degrees lean out, 5/8 inches toe in.
Okay.
They actually have positive camber on the sidecar wheel. Stop looking at me like that. With a skilled rider, this rig absolutely rails through corners in summer. With a windshield and winter tires, you can laugh at the people who stop riding for winter. And by the way, it does come with 2 rear wheels, one with a snow tire.
Do you know any
without.
skilled riders?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I keep one in the back chained up. Cool stuff. Ride in all seasons.
Does Nick know you keep Sarah in the back chained up? Hi, Sarah.
Yeah. So
Hi, Nick.
It rides in all seasons. It's fast as fuck. It's a Bandit. The front brakes are really nicely adjusted. I rebuilt the back brake completely.
Okay.
So it's as good as back brakes ever get, honestly, is kind of my assessment of it. Maneuverable. Now that everything's the way it should be, the front end is pretty good. You know, it's not as good as like a Ural with the leading link.
I should send this ad to my coworker who has a Bandit.
Yeah.
And kids.
Mm-hmm. There you go. But yeah, I mean, it's rock solid. That Texas sidecar frame is fucking bomb proof. It's got all the suspensions rebuilt on the sidecar itself because it needed it. And the paint on the sidecar is actually shockingly good. The bike seat
problems.
The bike's known problems because I'm the guy who actually says them.
Yes.
The bike seat is fucked. The part that the person sits on riding is in good shape. Everything behind you, and I'm talking like 1.5 inches behind your ass to the back of the seat, is all ripped to shit. I don't know what happened. It looks like somebody had a knife fight.
That can do something.
Oh yeah,
about
if
that.
I keep this thing, Gwen is totally going to see this thing. It's got dings and scrapes, of course. You know, there's the dent in the tank that was there when I bought it. There's a scrape down on the case that probably goes with that, is my guess.
Okay.
From where Junior dropped it.
Okay.
And there's a dent in the sidecar, or not a dent, like a scrape on the sidecar where it looks like a rock or some shit hit me.
Okay.
I don't know. It's got some rust and grunge, of course.
Sure.
And then that shock on the sidecar, the collar of it rubs the fender just like a tiny little bit. Okay. And so it's been rubbing it, forever. And so there's a scratchy bit, and you have to stick your head down in to see it, but it's down there. Okay. And then the sidecar wheel has this cap thing in the middle, and it's dented.
Like a hubcap?
No, it's not like a hubcap. It's like a beauty cap that goes over the actual like axle bolt.
Okay.
And the beauty cap is dented. I've seen a new beauty cap.
Okay.
So yeah, listeners, if you show up on a sidecar rig, you can test ride it. Otherwise, we're gonna have to go to a parking lot because this is
because reasons.
This is not the time to take your first ride on the Bandit on a road on a sidecar. Let's go to a parking lot first.
I don't know. This sounds like the perfect time for a lot of firsts. We'll put the boys from Colorado in that thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, I should have had the boys from Colorado ride this. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, nope. Norco. That would be a very bad idea.
Get the Norco guys.
Mm-hmm.
See how many of them make it back.
Oh, I'm worried they wouldn't make it back. Neither would the Bandit. They'd be like, keep the torch.
And you're like, oh, all right.
And the Super Hawk. I'd be like, I don't want the Super Hawk.
They come back for it. All right, we'll take it.
Fuck you.
I mean, I'll take this.
I mean, I joke with my daughter all the time, and I've got her making the in a ditch joke.
No.
Someone steals the Bandit, we'll know where to find them. In the ditch.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sidecars, they're everything is wrong. So.
Just like Uncle Brewer.
So yeah, Bandit for sale. Available now, $7,500.
Cool.
Yeah. See what happens. If it works, great. If not, I'm just gonna keep on working on making it better and tweaking it. And now I can get parts, so that's cool.
Yeah. And then you can introduce me to your friend.
Yes. I figure worst case scenario, then if you buy it, then that just means you're holding it for me for a while. when he bought it, there was a certain part of me that was like, I just have a friend who's holding on to that for me.
That's okay.
That's how that goes, right?
You may just be holding the flow for me for a bit.
Who knows? All things are possible in the fullness of time.
We have other things that
we don't necessarily want to hold. such as a Honda Monkey in Pocatello.
For
$3,500.
Yeah.
Seems a little steep.
Yeah.
2019 Honda Monkey, excellent condition, installed aftermarket Yoshimura exhaust, have factory off exhaust included, 175 miles.
Then I realized this was a mistake.
It was at this point that I realized I'd done bad things.
I realized this wasn't a Grom.
Oops, it's not a Grom. Yeah, I can see what Honda's trying to do with the Honda Monkey, because I'm sure they had most of the bits and pieces around, and they're like, fuck it, the Grom's going well, let's try making the Monkey again. And people are like,
you're making the Monkey again.
What?
Neat. Can I buy a Grom?
Do you have any Groms available? Send Grom.
Send a Grom.
Send Groms. But that I don't know. The weird thing about it is that it almost seems like it seems so quintessentially Honda. They make a thing that is genuinely really cool and unique. The Viffer, the Valkyrie, the Grom.
Yep.
Right? And then that goes well, and they're like, okay, but what if we took it and made it like lamer and samier with other stuff? That'll sell. Yeah, because people like the lamer, samier stuff we sell, Shadow. Shadow owners everywhere are like, where's Todd? I would fuck him up.
You know what it is? It's a couple of Honda engineers.
Yeah.
They're looking at a wall of parts bin.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a section that says Grom parts.
Yeah.
And that just added to the things they could put together.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
What other bike can you make with these? Monkey?
Monkey. Yeah. Let's go with Monkey. Yeah.
Monkey?
Yeah. Monkey. Tell the boss Monkey.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can go cooler than
that. This is a good ad for this coolness. It's a Ducati Scrambler, original owner, first edition, $8,800.
Wait, isn't
has 2,900 miles now. All services done at Ducati in Utah. This is the Urban Enduro trim. Looks brand new. Runs perfect. Has many extras. Has titanium Termagunoni exhaust. Sounds monstrous, just like pronouncing the name.
Mm-hmm.
Same block as 796 Monster, 803 cc's L Twin. Come test drive with motorcycle endorsement and insurance. I need to photo each of those for test drive. Garage cab comes with cover and bubble helmet from Builtwell and some gloves.
From Builtwell.
This is a first edition bike, Todd. I want to stress first edition.
What? Who cares?
Mint condition.
Who cares? Except for the fact that it's got an aftermarket exhaust on it, which doesn't count as mint anymore.
First edition.
Why do I care?
Why are my whiskers getting caught on the microphone?
I don't know.
This is weird. Yeah, first edition. I don't. Is this what the hipsters?
I don't know, dude.
Is this a thing?
I don't know, dude.
First edition.
Weirdly, I think I know right where this is parked. I used to live nearby. No. Specifically, I used to live nearby, and this house always had like a couple of random ass Gootsies in various stages of repair out in front of it and shit.
Yeah, now he's got a Scrambler.
Now there's a Scrambler, but it's a first edition Scrambler, I guess.
Signed.
I signed. What does it say signed?
It doesn't.
Okay. Just making shit up. Signed by the
Ducati guy.
By Steve Ducati.
Alfredo Ducati.
Oh, good.
Ducati Zismo. And it comes with a certificate of authenticity.
Uh-huh. Authentizione.
And a can of Chef Boyardee.
And a bottle of vino.
Yeah. Well, partially
drank bottle.
Partial bottle. And it's in a box.
Yeah.
It's a box.
And by bottle we mean box.
Box,
of course.
Box wine.
Little dented, but still good.
Yeah, so first edition. I couldn't get off of that.
What? Who cares?
I don't even know what that means as far as motorcycles.
I don't either.
Does that
first
just
edition.
Mean it's like the first year.
Wait. Does it mean something like the Ulysses we looked at last week, where it's like first edition Ulysses? The one that had the bad steering lock.
I guess.
Questions.
Just the
so
first.
Like this is the one before they ironed all the kinks out.
I guess. Yes.
It's the Strom with the rattling clutch basket.
Yes.
It's the Ulysses that makes funny noises and doesn't turn the front far enough.
Yes.
It's the Viffer that burns its own valves.
Yes.
On and on it goes.
Why do we want this bike?
I don't know.
First, I just
It's
never.
the KLR without the doohickey.
Don't buy a 1.0. Folks.
Do I need to keep going down this line?
It's entertaining. You got more?
Not right off the top of my head, but I'm sure I can come up with
we
some.
can come up with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I don't have any for
But
fuel.
why is that a selling point? Why put that in the headline?
I don't know. I think it's because honestly, though this is a fun as shit bike to ride, having ridden the Saras, this is also a bit of a fashion accessory, right?
It's hipstery.
Yeah.
It's Ducati.
Yeah.
It's a cafe.
It's got all the things it needs to be a fashion accessory.
Yeah, it's urban.
You roll up with this thing at the Coffee Garden, which is, by the way, about 3.5 blocks from here, where this bike is parked. And people are going to be like, "Oh, you showed up on a Ducati Scrambler," which, by the way, they won't be.
No one will say that.
No one will say that. But you're thinking it in your head that that's what's going to happen.
Could you not park there and leave it open for a car?
Sir.
Could you not park your bike on the sidewalk? Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Urban Enduro.
Urban Enduro. So you will be able to go as high as 35 miles an hour sometimes.
First edition.
If you're on 7th East and there's no one else and it's the middle of the night, you can hit 45, but there's a cop.
There's always a cop.
Mm-hmm. Spider Trike motorcycle. What? West Valley. $10,000. Hey, this is close to your house. You could get this. OBO or best offer, in case you didn't know what that meant. It's very good of them to explain it to us.
Yes.
Heavy duty race car class. Not finished. No time to finish.
Don't want to finish.
Either I need help to finish for part ownership, or we'll pay wages for someone to work on it, or you can buy it outright.
Wait, what?
$10,000 into it so far in parts. Want to get it done. Honda 1100 engine. Excuse me. Excited to see it done. We'll consider trades. Wow.
What?
Yep.
No.
So not only is it not done, they're like, well, if you want me to pay you bottom dollar to get it done, I'll totally do that. or here's it. You can come and work on it. I'll give you part ownership.
Or I'll pay you money to work on it.
With this crazy heavy steel chassis big thing.
I'm
with a
a
Honda 1100 motor. That's the part where I'm like, okay, that's a good motor in a midsize cruiser. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's a genuinely good motor. It's one of the better shadow motors.
He's building a car.
But there's a freaking car built on it now.
Yeah, that's a car frame.
That is not going to be fast at all.
And he calls it a heavy duty race car.
Yes. Well, he didn't specify what you're racing.
Like Conestoga wagons?
I don't know. Vespas? The smaller Vespas.
This man saw Megaforce. And he had feelings.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
He had ideas.
It has a certain Mad Max appeal to it.
It does, right? Just not enough with that motor.
Probably not with that motor, and not enough that I would actually, spend money. Say.
Yeah. So it's a reverse trike. I mean, what kind of racing?
I'm gonna go with this. This guy had.
Is there trike racing?
I don't think so. This person had. Okay, so what they had is they had half of a Shadow 1100. Okay, so far so good. And they had a lot of bar stock.
Yeah, I was gonna say a ton of steel lying around.
And they were at Harbor Freight, and they were looking around, and they're like, "Hey, I could afford that welder." Hey, now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, honey, I've got a great idea. What? We're gonna have a baby?
No.
What? Huh?
What?
No, I'm gonna make a race car from the front of that old Civic I have, and also the back of that old
motorcycle
Shadow.
I have. Two perfectly good vehicles I have. I'm gonna ruin.
And that pile of bar stock.
I'm gonna make a race thing and win races
against
peoples for prizes.
For pink slips, Chuck.
For pink
race this. This is the only reason to have this is to race for pinks.
Because there's no chance
you can't lose.
Yeah,
no matter what happens, you literally cannot lose.
Give me your pink slip. There isn't one. This vehicle is not legal in any way, shape, or
no.
form.
I said, give me. You win the race. Let's say you win the race. You get somebody's pink slip on their vehicle, right?
Sure.
And you've got another vehicle. You lose, and they're like, "Give me your," and fuck it. No, no, fuck no, no. You get out of here. Never come back. And you just go somewhere else, and you keep racing until you finally beat someone, and you make a profit.
I see.
No one's gonna take this thing's fucking pink slip. You nuts?
I would be shocked if this gets a pink slip.
Well,
what are you gonna do? Register as a motorcycle? $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
$10,000.
Yep.
For a project.
Mm-hmm.
No.
How about instead
rodeo rig?
That makes oddly more sense.
We have a unique custom-made rodeo rig, one of a kind, runs great. Message if interested. And I got a YouTube video about it.
Oh my God. And we're so there. Now, how would you describe this, Chuck?
This is it's like half of the front of a
Yamaha Venture.
Yeah, I was going to say Yamaha Goldwing clone.
Yeah, which is the Venture. It's a V4.
Ends at about the back of the front seat.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes a horse carrier.
Yes.
Or a chariot.
No, I'm reasonably certain that's a horse carrier.
It could be modified to a chariot.
I suppose, yes. That'd be possible.
I'm feeling like this should be a chariot.
Yep. And they've got a picture of them, in fact, riding it.
With a horse.
With a horse.
With a horse in the back.
So, I guess if you want to...
And it's got buck horn.
Of course it's got horns.
Wait, does the picture have the horns?
Yes, the picture has the horns, too.
Okay, so this thing comes with the horns?
So this weirdly...
Yes, it does.
Strange custom that does exactly what it says on the tin.
It transports a horse.
Do you worry sometimes that your motorcycle may break down and you're thinking, I need a horse with me?
So you're saying I should buy this?
I got to be honest. If you had a horse, although one of your dogs is big enough to go in this,
yeah.
If you had a horse and you wanted to ride a motorcycle to take the horse somewhere, you could do a lot worse than this.
In that very specific scenario.
In this highly specific scenario.
You're right. I
don't want a car, but I want to carry my horse.
There is little else to turn to.
Here's the part that blows my mind about it. Look at how cheap this is.
Something is wrong.
$1,500.
Something is not right.
You can literally not buy a horse trailer for that much.
Can you buy a Venture for that much?
That runs well?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Something's not right.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, I think some of what's not right is it's just weird as hell.
It is pretty weird.
And you got to have a particularly special kind of person who's like, I want to haul my horse somewhere on a trike. You wait, what?
I don't like cars. I don't like trucks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like airplanes or ships.
No.
But I've got this horse,
mm-hmm.
and I don't like riding him.
But I want to take him places because he's my bud.
Dear Abby. And this is what happened.
Yeah, this is one of those, somebody had a vision and they made it happen.
Yeah, they did.
And here it is, and you can buy it. It's a rodeo rig. The rodeo rig. We're gonna you owe it to yourselves to go and look at the rodeo rig and watch the video because apparently it works.
And this is much more appealing to me than the $10,000 trike thing.
Weirdly, yes. This, for all of its weirdness, makes perfect sense.
It does exactly what it was meant to.
It does exactly what it says it's meant to do.
And with a little bit of effort, you can make it a chariot.
Yep. Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to turn this into a chariot.
This would be like pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This would be pretty awesome in a parade.
It would actually.
Great parade vehicle.
That would be an awesome parade vehicle.
Yeah. See, there's so many more things you could do with this besides take your horse. You could take your cow.
You could take your horse to the parade.
You could take your goat.
All right. How about instead, Honda Ruckus, come and get it.
For $2,000?
Yes.
That's not what come and gets it means.
For sale, 2018 Honda Ruckus with just over 6,000 miles. 2,000 OBO will entertain every offer. The dancing? Trade's okay.
Dirty talk?
Pros, amazing working conditions, boring shit. Cons, slow as molasses, but you're buying a ruckus, not a crotch rocket. Missing left side mirror, scratches from laying it down. Air cleaner.
How do you lay down a ruckus?
Well,
the damn thing's already almost laid down as it is.
So you say that. You have to understand that when you say no one could possibly crash that, somewhere out there's someone who's like, well, hold my beer.
Give me a ruckus, kid.
Everyone stand back.
He rides it right into the pool.
Yep. Come and get it.
A 2018 ruckus.
Yes, conspicuously absent from this picture. Excuse me. Conspicuously absent from this ad is a picture.
There is a blank map.
Yes, not only is it angry with a map to like the literal middle of nowhere that has no roads on it.
Yep.
There's no picture of this.
Come and get it does not mean give me $2,000.
Yeah, come and get it. Bring $2,000 out to the open range. Place it in the horse trike.
Back away
slowly, and the ruckus will come out. You could use the horse trike to carry the ruckus.
You could. And all of the raccoons.
All the raccoons.
It's just there's an overcoat filled with raccoons.
Yes.
Driving that rodeo rig and selling that
ruckus. The entire family of raccoons is living out of it and has been for generations.
They have opinions.
Yep. Now, meanwhile, people need to get pictures in their ads, right, Chuck?
Yes.
Tell us about this one.
This is a 2005 Honda Goldwing Trike for $12,500.
That seems a little steep.
He likes to listen to 92.1 on the FM dial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He has almost 80,000 miles, and on his current trip B, he has 25 miles.
What color is it?
Dust. This is a beautiful 30th anniversary Goldwing. Lots of options, including heel toe shift, set up for heated gear, heated grips, mechanic owned. I have maintenance records since I've owned it. Runs great, nothing wrong. I just had the opportunity to buy a new one. Bike is in Vegas, but for a serious buyer, I'd be willing to meet part way. The Trike kick is a roadsmith.
Yep. The thing that really jumped out at me about this ad is the picture that is the featured picture on it.
The dusty odometer,
which is a really grungy dusty dash.
So are there pictures of the
actual bike?
Oh,
yes.
There we go.
Yeah, there's a picture of the actual bike.
Why isn't that the feature picture?
I don't know.
That should be.
These are the questions.
That's a seller.
Yeah,
because that bike is clean as fuck.
It's a nice, clean Goldwing Trike.
I'm not even convinced that first picture belongs to this bike.
Yep, because there's the nice, clean Goldwing Trike, and there's the dusty as fuck, grimy ass dash.
That looks like it's broken.
Yes, always lead with the dash. This is so. My mother's a realtor, and one of the things that really irks her is when people in their house pictures insist upon pictures of the toilet. She's like, the house has a toilet. Everyone knows the house has a fucking toilet. Stop putting the toilet in the pictures.
Oh, I know what I'm doing now.
So, there it is with a very verified set of miles on it.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Definitely 79,665 miles.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think we can say that with certainty.
Very confidently, as at the time of that photo.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is true.
What do we got now?
Custom.
Neat.
$2,800.
Okay.
Beautiful custom bike. Ned to fall in love VS 800.
Versus 800?
No, it's a VS 800 is the Volusia engine, and it's the Intruder 800.
Versus 800 raccoons?
Fall in love versus 800.
Yeah.
So there I was fighting 800 raccoons, and it was a love story. This is an anime waiting to happen, isn't it?
Yeah,
I must fight the 800 raccoons, but on the way I learn important lessons about love and dealing with your past.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This is, to me, it sounds like you just described the plot of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
At the moment when the raccoons threw me through the rose window, I remembered everything, Chuck. So this is ostensibly a custom, according to the thing. But as far as I can tell, the things that are custom are as follows. There's a custom rear fender, and the seat's a funny color.
Yep.
And
saddlebag?
Oh, it has saddlebags on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the back is lowered to make it unrideable.
Okay.
To make a bike which is, let's be honest, uncomfortable by its nature.
Even more so.
Uncomfortable. Yes.
But look at that rear fender.
Yes, it's
custom.
Mm-hmm.
Custom. Someone made that.
Absolutely not made from like a Tupperware bin.
Just for this bike.
Special.
Extra. Wow.
Custom.
Just
like cut awkwardly into a shape at the end too, so you know it's custom.
Wow.
What would you just? I don't even know what to call that shape. There's some triangle-ishness on it.
It's like a little tail.
It's a little like rat tail kind of thing, like a not totally symmetrical.
Is it? It's like the fender's pinching off a poop. It's like a little turtle head peeking out.
I don't know.
I think
it's like they saw a custom fender on something on TV.
They never saw a custom fender in their life. No.
And they had a Dremel.
I believe they had a Dremel. I don't believe they saw a custom fender anywhere.
They just thought it'd be a good idea to make one.
Yeah.
So, Chuck, I got to go back to the monkey for a minute. Consider, if you will, for a moment, the idea of riding that monkey far.
Like a mile?
Further.
Oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to the bathroom.
You're just in the middle of an episode?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll be right back.
All right. I guess
good.
guess I'll interview the guest by myself then. I'm on with Doug, aka Grom Way Around. Doug, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Of course, I haven't been riding for really, really long ways on a really, really small bike. So, one of us is probably sorer than the other.
Yeah, a bit.
Tell us about Grom Way Round, which we should note is legally distinct from those other guys riding, quote, inappropriate touring bikes the length of 2 continents.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's a parody on that, I guess. So, or so you could say. I mean, as far as me wanting to do adventure riding on a Grom, it kind of started off as a joke and then kind of developed into something more serious where I was like, oh, no, I can actually accomplish this. Like, this is totally doable. And here we are.
Be honest. When you say it started as a joke, did it start as a joke or did it start as a dare, possibly with some beer?
Yeah, it was kind of it was one of those jokes where there's a little bit of truth to it from the very beginning.
Sure.
But yeah, it was just between a roommate and I wanted to do a motorcycle trip and we were discussing what kind of bike to do it on. I came from a V-Strom 1000. That's the bike I had before. So, which was, in most people's eyes, the perfect bike to do a trip like this on.
Yeah. I mean, clearly you're a man of taste if you're riding a Strom. I like you already. Go on.
All right. I kind of started looking at that and I was like, well, that's kind of boring because lots of people do adventure rides on a Grom. Yeah, exactly. Or on a V-Strom. That's I was joking around with my roommate and I was like, what's the worst thing I could do it on? And we were joking about a Grom and how painful that would be. And he was like, you'd have to be a masochist to do that and all this other stuff. But
one thing led to another.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like, man, that would be pretty funny though, if somebody did that on a Grom. And I was like, well, I don't really see that many other people doing it. So, I guess I got to be the one. So,
so you didn't even have a Grom before you got the idea. You were just
correct.
Like, well, so step one, if you're going to go on a long trip on a Grom. So actually let's start with this. Where did you go on your Grom?
So, I left, July 21st and I left from Oklahoma and went over to, New Mexico and then traveled up along the Rockies up through Colorado and a little bit of Nebraska and South Dakota. I went to Sturgis during the rally.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Wyoming, I went up through Yellowstone and Montana and then Alberta, Canada, British Columbia, Canada, Yukon, and then up into Alaska and all the way north to Dead Horse to Prudhoe Bay.
Wow.
And then I came all the way back down and went down through Washington and Oregon and California along the West Coast. And now I'm in LA. So the goal is to make it to Argentina, I guess. But I've got to go back home now and make some more money because I'm empty now.
You're empty. You've used all 7 gallons of gas that you could afford for the Grom to go that far.
Exactly, yeah. the $10 in total I've spent on gas on the whole trip. Yeah.
That's cool. So you started this whole thing without, you're like, I'm going to ride a Grom really far. Step one, get a Grom.
Yep. Yeah. So I only got the Grom like 4 weeks before I left on the trip. So it took me, I came up with this idea about a year ago, and it took me, I mean, I planned and stuff for a whole year before I ended up being able to acquire the bike, and I traded the V-Strom for it and all that. So
traded the V-Strom for a Grom. Somewhere, yep. Someone right now has just crashed into a tree because they're laughing at that.
That makes me smile. I'm glad that they laugh, because I laugh at that too.
Yeah, it's get rid of it before it blows up on the way to teaching a class, or so I heard from a friend. Okay, so you got the Grom. Now I gotta ask all of the obvious questions. Like, so for starters, like, that's not a very big bike to hold stuff on. Like, how did you get all the stuff onto a Grom? There are some logistical challenges here.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it was a bit of an engineering challenge, I'd say. Especially, nobody really makes a lot of adventure accessories for Grom or luggage racks or things of the sort. So I kind of had to come up with my own stuff. So I built my own luggage racks, like welded them all together, and I was able to get, like, I have a Roto Packs, a fuel packs thing on the side.
Like 3 Grom tanks big.
Yeah, right. It's a 1.5 gallons, so which is the same size as the Grom tank. So it's I call it my range doubler. And then I've got I built this little rack on the front that connects to the forks that holds my tent and my tools and stuff. And then I've got a little slot where my camera case goes, and my duffel goes on the top, in the back, and on the rack, and then I have a tank bag too. And it looks, a lot of people comment, they say, like, that's a lot of stuff and you have that thing overloaded, but it's really, the bike is so small that it makes it look like more stuff than it really is what I think.
Sure, a regular sized bag looks gigantic by comparison.
Exactly, yeah.
So now, are you a fairly regular sized guy, or are you, like, actually very small, so there's plenty of extra space?
Yeah, I'm pretty skinny. But I'm 5'11" and like a 145, 150. So I'm not small. The bike definitely looks small under me, I think.
Well, in fairness, the Grom looks small under almost everybody.
That is a fact.
And
yes.
Especially if you bring, like, a whole bunch of luggage, I hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you figured out how to get all the luggage on, and you take off from Oklahoma. Now, was there a point early on where you're like, wait, what am I doing? Or was it kind of, were you just charged to be going at that point?
Yeah, I maybe a couple weeks in, I kind of started, because I'd never really been on a big trip like this or anything either. Okay. So a couple weeks in, it kind of hit me, but even at this point, I still hasn't. I go and look at, like, the map at where I've been and stuff, and it still just floors me how far I've made it, and it hasn't. I'm not quite comprehending it yet. I don't think it hasn't caught up to me.
Sure, you're too busy doing it to consider it.
Exactly, yeah.
So how is the Grom for a long ride? Because I'm sure that's what everybody's really wanting me to ask you. I mean, is this the sleeper tourer nobody knows about?
It's not the best tool for the job, I don't think, but it's not, I don't think it's as bad as myself and many others would expect. It's not the most comfortable thing, and obviously it's not very fast.
Sure.
But, I mean, it has its advantages, like, when I've taken it up 4x4 trails and stuff, to camp and whatnot, and, when I drop it, it's easy to pick back up. And then I've been making some days I make less, but on average, I'd say I make a little over 80 miles a gallon, about 85, between 80 and 90 miles a gallon is what I'm usually making. So
wow, that's a bit of a change from the Strom.
Yeah, the 40 or less that I was getting with that.
See, that's how I know your throttle hand's heavy, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I'm just running the Grom I'm running wide open all the time anyway. and so it's still making that good of gas mileage. So if I backed off a little bit, I could probably make a little bit more. But so it's definitely it's not the most comfortable thing, and it's not the fastest, but it sure is economical and easy to manage.
Sure. And is there a certain swagger to showing up in something like a Grom on a really long trip? Because I think of like Lois Price, who does it on the little like TX or whatever, TR. Andrew Payne always tours on tiny little things. Those guys who did them on the Chinese scooters across the country and broke down halfway, of course.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a certain swagger to showing up and being like, oh, I'm on that bike. That's my rig.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of comments like one guy was like, hey, you must have really big balls because you don't have to compensate for them, or stuff like that. But yeah, there definitely is. I mean, it's cooler than, especially once you get up to like a certain point in Alaska and stuff, you start seeing and Canada, you start seeing all these adventure bikes all over the place, and that's all there is. So you really stand out amongst all the other motorcyclists, and you get it gets some attention from people that are paying attention,
So now, was most of the attention you got positive? Did you get some people giving you the you're out of your mind, you're gonna die, bears are gonna eat you and your bike?
Yeah, absolutely, especially in the beginning. Once I had reached a certain point, it was kind of people were more surprised. But before I got up to Alaska, like especially before I even left, I mean, there was a guy that told me, like that I've been to Alaska, that bike won't even make it up some of the hills and all this and that. And yeah, lots of fear mongering about bears and all sorts of stuff. But I'd say most of it has been positive. Most people just think it's really cool. So
when you went into Sturgis, did you park the Grom with all the stuff on it right in the middle of town next to all the great big Harleys and be like, "Yep, what's up?"
Yeah, I didn't actually. I just rode through Sturgis, but I did have a guy as I was riding through the middle of town. There was a guy videoing me. So
he's like, "You would not believe what I saw."
Yeah, right.
It was a Grom with luggage, and everybody's like, "Bullshit."
Yeah, that's not real. What are you talking about?
You made that up. Nobody makes luggage for the Grom. So what were the kind of challenges that you hit on the small bike? I mean, were there parts of it where you were thinking, boy, a little more would be nice right now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, with it being slow, anytime you hit a snag during the day and you're running behind and you're trying to get to a certain spot, and it's like you can't open it up a little bit and go 100 for a little bit or whatever. You're forced to a certain speed, so you end up showing up late and it's dark and cold or something, and you have to set up
time to set a tent.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, for the most part, it's not been too much of a nightmare as far as other drivers have been. But I've definitely been in a couple situations where I would have preferred to have been able to get out of people's way. But
now on the flip side, though, are there times where having the small bike just is amazing?
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I was about to say was for what it lacks in speed and acceleration, it makes up for and maneuverability, and it stops really quick too. So, and it's been especially nice in California because I can lane split here. So being able to fit in between lanes, even with the bike fully loaded, is really nice because I can get through traffic and feel a little bit safer, not feel like I'm going to get rear-ended.
So now, did you end up having to do dual sport tires on the Grom, or did you find something sport-like, or did you just kind of wing it?
I did, for the ride up to Alaska, I did just some Michelin street tires, but then for the Dalton, highway up to Prudhoe Bay, I did switch to some dual sport, some knobbies, some Shinkos that I was really glad I switched to, because I'm pretty sure I would have eaten it if I hadn't had those. But other than that, no, I've just run street tires. I put street tires back on it after I finished the Dalton.
Sure.
So.
Because who likes to go the whole way down?
Exactly. Yeah.
So as you were up there on the Dalton amongst the other adventure bikes, hey, it's still it's an adventure Grom. It is what it
yeah.
is. Were you finding that you were now becoming like a pseudo celebrity in your own right?
So, interestingly enough, so I left Fairbanks for the Dalton and then got to the Dalton sign, stopped to take pictures. I saw one guy on some adventure bike come back south from the Dalton. He waved, and on my entire time up to Prudhoe Bay and back to Fairbanks, I didn't see another motorcycle. Wow. So I was I hit it kind of late in the season, I think, was the deal.
Yeah.
And so everybody that wanted to go had already gone.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I don't know if I think there's a lot of the adventure bikes end up ignoring me. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but
you frighten them, you
intimidate
them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or they're worried you're going to ask for help because you had to deploy the lifeboat from your BMW and now you're riding it.
Yeah, right. Hey, that's what they need, though, right? They need a Grom as a backup.
Yeah, you lower the Grom off the back of the Goldwing and then you ride that into the port, right? That's how that works. So there you are by yourself on a Grom, middle of nowhere, Alaska. Do you just go flat out in those situations, or I mean, I guess I'm trying to picture doing this on a bike that size, and what that must feel like to be all by yourself in that just space.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the Grom, it's pretty much always flat out because it just.
Oh, right, yeah.
You're pretty limited, but yeah, I mean, at least with that road, it's a different. You have to watch out for different things. You have to pay attention to different things, I guess, because there isn't anybody else on the road, but the road is so dangerous that you still have to pay attention. So
the road is plenty, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I can't even imagine dealing with traffic and that road. That would be a nightmare.
So now you're back. You've gotten back down into the States, and I actually got to ask: at the border, when you said I'm going to Alaska, were they like, "What? Bullshit"?
Yeah. That's
give this guy the big search.
When yeah, right. That's what I was afraid of. I was like, man, I look weird, so they're just going to automatically assume that duffel's full of cocaine or something.
Fetch the super search. Get the big scalpel enforcer.
Oh, gee. No, the most of the Canadian border crossings when I went into Canada, they didn't really say anything. They were kind of unfazed by it. But the guy going into Alaska was really, really firm and, just very, very border guard like. But then at the very end, he was like, "What size is that?" And I was like, "It's a 125." And then he shook his head and he was like, "You're crazy." And then coming back into Washington, I got like a whole group of border security like gathered around me, all pointing and laughing. So that was fun.
The border celebrity.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, at least they were pointing and laughing as opposed to get out the long glove.
Exactly. Yeah. And they thankfully they let me pass without any cavity searches or anything of the like.
So now when you got down into more civilized regions and you ran into people there, did you have to explain to them where you'd been and watch them try to figure that one out?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that don't understand how far away Alaska is. Mm-hmm. It's number one. Alaska is massive.
It's next to Washington, right?
You're right. That's what everybody thinks. Like north to south, Alaska is the same size as the 48 continental states. Mm-hmm. And then to get up there, you have to go through Canada, and Canada is massive too. So it's a long way away. So sometimes you have to explain to people like you don't get how far away this is. But then the people that get it are, they're always really, really surprised. They're like, you rode that up to Alaska? Like, how did that make it? And like, what broke? And when I tell them that basically nothing's broken, they're really surprised. And
it's a Honda. It has very few moving parts. It's
exactly. Yeah, it's pretty much bulletproof.
So what's the number one touring accessory you wish somebody would make for the Grom? TourTech, pay attention.
Oh boy,
here comes the profit.
Some kind of windshield, I think. Just because I don't, the one that I have doesn't work very well. Mm-hmm. And shoot, I'm really asking here, but some kind of adventure fairing would be pretty cool.
Yeah, the faired Grom, the touring Grom.
Yeah,
the Grom
exactly.
T.
Yeah, there you go.
Or you can get the TX, which has laced wheels, right?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, the adventure. See, I need to go talk to Honda and get them started on this. Have a whole line of it.
Or you just start talking to TourTech and you start helping them sell adventure parts for the Grom, and you're like the expert who can show up and be like, let me tell you a thing or two about touring on a Grom.
If only we can convince a couple other people that touring on a Grom's a good idea.
Grom, it's the sleeper tourer nobody knew about. Well, it's got maximum swagger, right? Grom swagger.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you're in LA now, and you got to get back to Oklahoma. Are you going to take the direct boring route on? Well, I guess highways are out, huh?
Yeah. I stay off interstates.
So what's the plan? Are you going to hit any other mountain ranges? Are you going to just go for it?
Yeah. So I think right now I'm going to be trying to get home relatively quickly, and then I'm going to come back out because the route that I want to take down through Mexico is through Baja. So
you do know that ends in an ocean, right?
Yeah, that's right. I have to take a ferry.
Just checking.
Thanks. But yeah, so I'm gonna come back out west and then visit San Diego too, because I haven't been to San Diego. So and then go south from there. So
cool.
I don't know if I'll Grand Canyon is something else I'd like to see, I think. So I don't know if I'll see that going on the way back or vice versa, but
so for your next ride though, now that you're a thing, now that Grom Way Round is a thing, are you expecting now we're going to have sponsorship? Is there going to be a TourTech out Grom for the second half?
I don't know. That's kind of what I'm crossing my fingers for is that now I've proven that like I can do it, the bike can do it. And to me, I mean, I look at it as a pretty good marketing opportunity for multiple different things. If I'm crazy enough to ride this little bike and demonstrate that a product can take a beating, for however many miles in rough conditions or whatever, I don't know. But there's I'm trying to find it here. There is actually a company that started making adventure accessories for the Grom.
So clearly you're not the only one with this wacky idea.
No, not quite. There are a couple guys from Sweden who have ridden as far as I know all the way to Malaysia on Groms. So yeah, that's further than I've been so far. So that's pretty serious.
I think that's further than you can go in the Western Hemisphere.
I think so. Yeah. And there is I'm part of a Facebook group that's the mini bike adventure group. So there's some sort of niche market there for it.
Sure. And it's certainly more approachable than the I'm going to do a huge ride with a big expensive bike and 3 cars following me and a chef and that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and one of the reasons I picked this bike was to kind of make a statement of there's no specific bike that you need to do a trip like this or whatever. You can do it if you have a Grom, go for it, and you don't have to go to Alaska necessarily, but it doesn't take a 1200 GS to go on a cool adventure or whatever.
It just takes the willingness to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also some homemade luggage.
Yeah. Depending on what kind of bike you choose. Yeah.
All right. So make sure you check out Doug's site at gromwayround.com. And make sure to look for his upcoming accessories of Grom luggage and ways to carry your personal chef behind you on your Grom. Doug, thanks so much for talking with us tonight, man.
Yeah, thank you too. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Well, welcome back. That was a really long trip. Do I need to refinish that bathroom or something?
Don't go in there.
Damn.
Don't go in there for a while.
Wow. You missed the whole interview.
What?
The entire interview.
We had what?
Yeah, I interviewed a guy who rode really far in a Grom.
Like a mile?
Oh, man. You missed the boat, bro.
2 miles?
Several, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Multiple trips to the store. All right, not mentioned in the interview, but you can also check out Doug's site, gromwayround.com, which one of our listeners gave away before this interview. Carl.
Who? What?
Carl.
Oh, Carl, yeah.
That ruins the surprise, Carl.
He bought a new bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Jerk.
Anyway, you can check out Doug's page at gromwayround.com, and you can also check out his Patreon, which is cleverly named Gromway Round, if you liked what he's doing and want to see a longer trip on a Grom.
So he's doing this on a monkey?
No, it's a Grom.
A Grom.
Grom, hence the name.
Gotcha.
Gromway Round.
I wasn't here.
I got that, yeah.
Don't go in your bathroom.
Okay.
Ever again.
It's now closed.
The voices were there when I got there.
Oh, okay. I'm unsettled. What have you learned this week, Chuck?
The voices were there when I got there.
Oh, okay.
What have you learned, Todd?
I've learned that clearly we need to do this like online more. But that's all we got time for this week. Until next time, I'm Todd.
Oh, I got to go back to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Oh, God. Ride safe, everyone.
See you next time.
You can contact us at wheelnerds@gmail.com or leave us a message at area code 801-917-4136.
Record an intro for our show of you and your bike, and maybe it'll be on a future show.
Stickers and other merchandise is available at our website, www.wheelnerds.com.
If you use iTunes or Stitcher, please leave a review for us. Hell, write our URL on bathroom walls if it helps.
If you like this podcast, you can find more like it at wheelnerds.com. This has been a Wheelnerds production, all rights reserved. Readings from other sources are the property of their respective owners and are used with satirical intent.
And it's not that I've had 2 beers that makes me giggle like this. It's that I just giggle like this naturally.
I know. This is a 2005 whole Honda Goldwing Trike. Sorry. Wait, I don't think that's that's not my exit line, is it?
See you next week.
See you next time. See you next time.
Yeah, it's bad.
See you next week. No, wait.
See you next time.
See you.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, you say ride safe, and I'll say we see you next time.
Yeah. Ride safe, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Oh, I just broke the
mic. God.
Okay, bye.